I created a 34 question practice test for the TSI. So let's go ahead and cover the first 4 questions together. So it says, if there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, how many ounces are in X pounds? So because I'm comparing ounces to pounds, I know that I'm going to set up a proportion. So I'm going to put ounces on the top and I'm going to put pounds on the bottom. Now with the proportion, there's always 2 fractions. So this one should also be in ounces and this should also be in pounds. All right, so the very first fraction in our proportion should be the information that we're given. So 16 ounces in 1 pound. That is also considered the rate. So the first fraction is going to be the rate. So it's going to be 16 ounces in 1 pound. So then it asks us how many ounces are in X pounds. So they're giving us X pounds. So we're going to write X next to the pounds. And they want us to figure out how many ounces would be in X pounds. So in this situation, you can cross multiply, but that's going to lead to a lot of confusion. So I would recommend doing the whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So I have to ask myself, how did I go from 1 to X? So I'm going to write it over here just to see what that is about. So I went from 1 times something equals X. So before I can figure this out, I need to remember that there's an invisible 1 in front of this X. So now it's 1 times blank equals 1X. So it would be 1 times X equals 1X. So if I multiply the bottom by X, then what do we have to multiply the top by? By X. So it would be 16 times X, which is equal to 16X. So that will be the amount of ounces, 16X. So my answer is going to be B. So a lot of you saw me solve these types of problems in my videos. But what I did with this practice test, and I spent a lot of time creating this practice test for you guys, is that just watching one example and then moving on with your day is not going to be enough to help you pass your test. For some people, yes, but not for everyone. And so for certain problems throughout this practice test that I created, I gave you multiple opportunities to practice the same skill. So now that we know how to solve this, we have 2 more opportunities to put the same skills into practice. So we're going to erase this just not to be a distraction, and let's go to problem 2 and 3. It says, if there are 12 inches in 1 foot, how many inches are in X feet? So again, inches to foot. So we're creating proportion. So I'm going to put inches on the top, and I'm going to put feet on the bottom. I'm going to put inches on the top, and I'm going to put feet on the bottom. Okay, so the first one is the rate, or the information that they give us, which is 12 inches are in 1 foot. Now it says how many inches are in X feet. So X feet, and they want us to find the amount of inches. Okay, so we're going to see whatever I do to the bottom to go from 1 to X, I'm also going to do that to the top. So because we just did that problem before, you probably can already see what is needed to do. So 1 times blank is equal to X. Remember, there's an invisible 1 in front of the X. So it would be 1 times X is equal to 1X. So if I multiply the bottom by X, guess what I have to do to the top? Multiply the top by X. So it would be 12 times X, which is equal to 12X. So 12X would be our answer, and our answer would be C. Do you see how doing the same problem multiple times helps us to practice and helps us to remember how to do it? By the 3rd time, we'll be able to just breeze through this. So problem number 3, if there are 4 cups in 1 quart, how many cups are in X cups? Okay, so again, we have our rate. That's going to be our first fraction. So we have 4 cups in 1 quart. And then we're going to set that equal to how many cups are in X cups. So we're going to take X cups and put it on the top. And then it says, oops, I just saw a flaw in my practice test, so I'll fix that right away. So how many cups are in X? This should be in X quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that before I post it for you guys underneath this video. So I'm glad that I'm practicing it with you. But anyway, so let's reset that up. It's going to be X, how many cups are in X quarts. All right, so we're going to figure out how many cups there are. So we're going to do 1 times what is equal to X. So you're already going to put that invisible 1 there, and you're going to say 1 times X is equal to 1X quarts. So then you're just going to multiply the top by X, and you're going to get 4X cups, and the answer is going to be D. So we are going to be able to see, okay, we practiced this 3 times. Problem number 1, problem number 2, and problem number 3. So we easily know how to set up a proportion. We now know how to solve it, and we also know how to solve it when there's an X instead of a regular number there. So we're doing a really good job. That's why I created this practice test for you guys, so that you guys would be able to not only practice it once, but be able to practice the same concept many times. So I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of problem number 4, and then we're going to be able to end the video here. But I just wanted you guys to be able to experience some of the practice questions just for you to see what it is that you may decide to purchase from me. And I just want you guys to know that if you do ever purchase any of my digital products, 1, I'm doing this from the genuine of my heart, just wanting to help you guys. 2, any payments that you make to me, 100% go to me, and it just helps me to dedicate more time to making videos or to making practice tests or to making workbooks. And it really helps me out a lot, and it helps me to know that I'm helping you guys and that you appreciate it. All right, so just thank you. Sorry for all that. Okay, so question number 4. It says the graph below shows the number of students who shopped at the mall after school Monday through Thursday for 1 week. If the number of students on Friday was 1/3 increase from the number of students on Thursday, how many students went to the mall on Friday? Okay, so they said if the number of students on Friday, so we're going to pretend like this is going to be the very next day. It was a 1/3 increase, and we're comparing to the number of students on Thursday. So first we have to figure out, okay, how many students went to the mall on Thursday? So reading the graph, on this side, if it stops here, then it would mean 300 students went to the mall on Thursday. So if there's a 1/3 increase, we divide it by the denominator. So because the denominator is 3, we divide 300 divided by 3. That means there was 100 student increase. Increase means adding. So we're going to take the original count for Thursday, 300. We're going to add 100 students. And we're going to get a total of 400 students who went to the mall on Friday. So the graph would be like this. So our answer would be 400 students. So anytime they're talking about a fractional increase or decrease, you take whatever the fraction is. So in this case, it was 1/3. And you take the number of students. So it was 300 students. And you divide it by the denominator, 3. And you were able to find the increase. Now, what happens if they said that it was a 1/2 increase? Okay, so 1/2, the denominator is 2. So I would take 300 divided by 2, which equals 150. And it would be a 150 increase, meaning I would take the original amount of students and I would add 150 students to it. Okay, now what happens if I said that it was going to be a decrease? I promised you guys that I was only going to share problems 1 through 4, but I'll share problem number 5 just for you guys to see that I made you guys another question that's similar to this. So, and this talks about a decrease. So the graph below shows the number of students who shopped at the mall after school Monday through Thursday for 1 week. If the number of students on Saturday was a 1/2 decrease from the number of students on Thursday, how many students went to the mall on Saturday? So we're skipping Friday, but I'm going to write it there just for whatever reason. And we're going to figure out how many students are there on Saturday. So they're saying that Saturday was a 1/2 decrease from the number of students on Thursday. So again, the number of students on Thursday is going to remain the same, 300. So there's 300 students on Thursday. But now we got to figure out what 1/2 would be. So you remember what I told you is that you take the denominator of the fraction and you divide it by that number. So 300 divided by 2 is 150. But we just have to remember that instead of adding 150, it's going to be a decrease. So we're going to subtract 150. So we're going to take 300, the amount of students on Thursday, and we're going to decrease it by 150. And there will be 150 students who attended the mall on Saturday. So our answer is going to be D. So again, this is just the first 5 questions out of the 34 questions that I made for you guys. I've been working on this practice test for many weeks, if not a little bit longer than a month. And I've been practicing to see, okay, what have I seen on the TSI practice test that they give you? What type of problems do you guys need? What type of problems would it be helpful for you guys to practice? And I tried to give you guys as much as I possibly could. I edited it all up, and I hope you guys are able to benefit from it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for anybody who is going to support me by buying this practice test. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.